Hi friends, and thank you for dropping in again on TNT. Thank you very much to the team and the staff at the BYD Lofts yesterday for hosting me down there. And as always, of course, thank you to 5 Star Marine, our program sponsor. It is a magnificent day in Phuket today. Just saying, in case you're thinking of getting a little bit of tropical sunshine. We're going to start today's program with a few reptiles. Let's go to it. And from ASEAN now, tourists scream as croc show ends in experienced trainer being bitten. Now, this story actually happened about a week ago, but I only just found it yesterday. These stories do come up from time to time. Maybe just a very quick bit of background. There are these crocodile shows that you can see around the country. Probably less popular now than they used to be, and not so popular with Western tourists. But these crocodiles are seemingly sort of trained, and they open their mouth and the trainers put their heads in there. But just from time to time, the crocodiles clearly just get a little bit bored with the same old show every day and decide to add just a little bit of spice. Daily News reports that a crocodile trainer was bitten on the right hand in full view of startled tourists at a show in Buang Borapet in Nakhon Sawan in northern Thailand yesterday afternoon. As I said, that was last week sometime. It was the last show of the day, and 2 crocs called Phak Tong and Kola were the stars. Experienced trainer Sumet, who's 51, was just concluding the show with a Superman move when Kola decided enough was enough. Now, I was hoping, just looking at the 2 names, that it wasn't in fact Kola, but it was Phak Tong saying fuck you. But no, it was Kola. The trainer was bitten on the right hand, drawing blood and shrieks from the many tourists and children in attendance. I'm sure half of them would have had their cameras going at the same time as well. It was not Sumet's first brush with croc trouble. 6 years ago, one broke his arm. Well, good on you, Sumet, coming back for more. And it does happen from time to time where the crocodiles just think that they've had enough. But from one lot of reptiles to another, Thai PBS World reports that Prawit denies having conflict with Prayut. These 2 are the most powerful 2 politicians in Thailand at the moment. Ex-army mates, been together for a long, long time. But it looks like there is some sort of simmering feud between the 2. And even though Prawit filled in for Prayut for a month as the caretaker Prime Minister during a constitutional court case, it looks like he might have enjoyed his stint behind the desk and wants a bit more. Let's go and see what the story says. Deputy PM Prawit Wongsuwon denied he had conflict with the PM Prayut Chan-o-cha and admitted his Palang Pracharat Party and the newly formed Ram Thai Sang Chart Party are the same. Indeed, a lot of political pundits think that this new party's been set up basically to sort of form 2 pillars that people can vote for, but pretty much they're voting for the same team. Well, that's the way the theory goes. He said, "We've been brothers. If he wants to join the party, just go ahead. We don't have any conflict." My history with denials is that if a politician denies something 3 times, it's true, and this is the second time he's denied this particular allegation. There have been reports about a political fallout between Prayut and Prawit, who's leader of the Palang Pracharat Party. Prayut became the Prime Minister after the election in 2018. Actually, that was 2019. The election was held on March the 23rd, 2019, with support of Palang Pracharat. Prayut Chan-o-cha, the current Prime Minister, never stood as an MP, but he was their Prime Ministerial nominee because not one party was able to garner more than 50% of the votes plus 1. Prawit, who is reported to be harbouring an ambition to be PM candidate himself in the next elections, insisted they're on good terms. And if Prawit does join this other party, it means that if Palang Pracharat can garner enough votes, then Prawit would indeed be the prime ministerial candidate instead. And down the bottom there, we've been together for 40 to 50 years. Why would we have conflicts? It's the journalists who have been asking about the conflicts. Yes, blame the journalists. Another story from Thai PBS World Today, and sad news, the death toll from Indonesia's earthquake rises to 318. This is the earthquake from last week, and as I sort of said at the time, I thought the death toll might rise. The death toll from the devastating earthquake in Indonesia's province of West Java has risen to 318, with 14 other people still missing. It was a 5.6 magnitude quake hitting West Java last Monday. That's Monday last week. This area is around about 100 kilometres south of the capital, Jakarta. And it was a 5.6 magnitude earthquake, which certainly isn't a huge number, but apparently it was only about 10 kilometres underground, which makes it very shallow and why it appears to have had such impact. The quake also left 7,729 people injured. It destroyed 58,000 houses, and it displaced as many as 73,693 people. So that's the latest fallout from that particular earthquake. Now, in just a moment, we're going to talk about some comments from yesterday's program, a couple of things I may have got a little bit wrong, or indeed maybe need some more clarification. With thanks to our sponsor, 5 Star Marine, you're watching TNT. During yesterday's program, we mentioned at one stage about the largest number of expats in Thailand, and I said that it was Japanese people. And just checking, indeed, it is Japanese, Chinese and Filipinos who this particular report from Foreign Affairs says are the highest number of expats. But somebody pointed out quite clearly that obviously Burmese people would have to be the single largest number of foreign people living in Thailand. Now, I can't deny that. There is certainly a large number of both registered and unregistered Burmese migrants in Thailand. They also suggested there were also quite a few Cambodians and Laotians as well. Now, I just go to this particular map here, and this is a map of what's called the CMLV countries. CMLV standing for Cambodia, CMLV, Myanmar, Laos and Vietnam, which are the countries immediately adjacent to Thailand, 3 of them with land borders. So these are the CMLV countries, and for whatever reason, it looks like they are sort of counted differently, and in some cases they have a slightly different type of work permit compared to other countries. So I'm going to confirm that later today, but thank you very much to that person who pointed out the fact that clearly and obviously the Burmese people would be by far the largest number of foreigners living here in Thailand. As to why we've got Japanese, Chinese and Filipinos listed as the most popular expats, I think it's something to do with the visa situation, but I am going to follow that up, and thank you very much to the person that sent that information through. Let's go to our next story today from The Nation. Thai exports in October see the first contraction in 20 months. So Thai exports have been sort of carrying Thailand through the COVID period, and when things started picking up in other parts of the world, so did Thai exports, but it looks like that may have had a bit of a stumble last month. The story goes on, Thailand's exports last month fell for the first time since January this year by 4.4% compared to the previous month, following a decline in exports of agricultural, agro-industrial and industrial goods. Suppose that might include cars. And down the bottom there, in October, agricultural, agro-industrial and industrial products fell by 4.3%, 2.3% and 3.5% respectively. But in statistics, you can always find some good news, and so we do on this one. Overall, from January to October, Thailand saw a 9.1% rise in exports, and the nation's imports also increased year on year, up by 18.3%. So it looks like the trend is still on an upward trajectory, although there has been a bit of a speed bump. But as Monty Python used to say, and now for something completely different, we go to the Miss Tiffany show. Ubon Beauty, Arisara, crowned this year as original Miss Tiffany. Quite interesting that they use the word original. Obviously, there must have been a couple of other transgender beauty pageants that have been popping up, but this is the original Miss Tiffany pageant. Ubon Ratchathani's Arisara Kwang Kankla was crowned this year Miss Tiffany, the original, at a gala celebration on Sunday. The extravaganza was held at the Tiffany show Pattaya in Chonburi, and also saw the transgender beauty winning the Best of Tiffany's fashion shoot and Miss Photogenic, just mere prizes compared to the big grand prize that she won. There she is getting her tiara. It's a pretty elaborate looking tiara, apparently quite expensive as well, and looking good there, Miss Tiffany 2022. And apart from the $1 million baht crown, designed by God Diamonds, Arisara also won an MG ZS limited edition car. I think that's a full electric MG. I'm sure one of you are going to tell me if I'm wrong. 300,000 baht in cash and a gift voucher from Pratunam Polyclinic, among other goodies. So congratulations to Miss Tiffany Original. And that was held in Pattaya over the weekend, along with the fireworks. And I think we read yesterday that attracted some 100,000 people. So two big events in Pattaya over one weekend. Let's hope the crowds continue to head to the party town as the high season looms. And we now head south in Thailand. And this story from The Nation: people of different faiths rally in Narathiwat against violence, seeking peace. About 500 local residents demonstrated in the heart of the southern border province of Narathiwat on Monday morning, that's yesterday of course, to denounce the violence and called for peace a week after a car bomb attack killed a policeman and injured many others. And the demonstration was held inside the compound of the police residential building, where a car bomb exploded on November the 22nd. So quite a bold attack indeed, putting a car bomb inside a police apartment residential compound. The demonstration was joined by local Islamic leaders, school pupils, university students, and local youth of all faiths. And people of all faiths came together to join the rally against violence and to seek the return of peace to the southern border province. I'm going to do a special program about the southern insurgency because it is a very complicated issue. A lot of people see it as either all about real estate, all about borders, all about religion, but it's actually much more complicated than that. So I'll probably do a special program. And I should mention, I did say a few weeks ago I'm going to be doing a program each Sunday. Out of the last 3 weeks, I've only fulfilled that obligation once. I literally haven't had anything else to really say, or that I thought would be of singular interest to do on the Sunday programs, but I've got some interviews lined up over the next few weeks, so hopefully we'll have some interesting guests for you to talk to, including this Saturday on the live program. We've got an ophthalmologist, an eye doctor, who was the one who actually operated on my eyes and is going to be talking about eye health in people over 40 years old. So we'll be doing that on this Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Thai time, and you can join in and ask any questions. Okay, to a different topic now, and from coconuts.co, date fast, date often at one night Sukhumvit speed dating party. Pretty much this is a bit of a promo, but I thought some of you might like to know about this event. Hosted by OMG, matchmaking. Speed dating invites singles to couple up just in time for the holidays from 7 till 10 on December the 17th at the Deck BKK on Soi Sukhumvit 20. So each pairing apparently rotates every 5 minutes. I think it usually takes me about 5 seconds to sum up most people. The first 10 advance tickets are $7.99, and then otherwise you're going to have to pay $8.99 to join in that event. But your first drink is on the house, apparently. So that's just from coconuts.co. As we head to the Bangkok Post, and this story just keeps on dragging on. This one says that weed shops to provide smoke spots. Given that we were told last week, with immediate effect, that these retail stores where people can buy cannabis, the people are not allowed to smoke on the same premises, which confuses me when I go to this story. Cannabis sellers on Khao San Road will be told they must operate their own smoking places to help keep the local environment free of the pungent smell of marijuana. That sound you hear, by the way, is Dina, who's just come to say hello and scratch the chair to make sure I know that she's there. Thank you, Dina. You feeling better now? Okay, thank you very much. So getting back to where we were on that particular story, just tilt that back up again. Squeak. Sorry about that. A little interruption. So we were told that people weren't able to smoke in the store, but they're now being told they can't go outside and smoke in the open air. So where do they go? So the Department of Thai Traditional and Complementary Medicines have insisted that licensed cannabis sellers were allowed to distribute cannabis buds, but it was against the law to allow cannabis smoking or eating areas in their shops. So get out of the shops, but don't smoke it outside. I suppose they're trying to encourage people to take it home and do it in their own privacy. We're complying with the Public Health Ministry announcement on cannabis, which bans smoking in our shops. Therefore, we've prepared a cigar bar in Plantopia, which is an excluded site. Away from public areas, we provide cleaning services and an air ventilation system at the bar. So these shops are now going to the trouble of setting up their own smoking areas. Assumedly, they're going to have to pay rent for those as well. So they're going to a lot of trouble. Down the bottom, he wished to see more support for the recreational use of cannabis, but concurred there should be designated zones. We also note that the cannabis bill, is currently under discussion in the parliamentary session that's in operation at the moment, so we should be hearing more about a vote on that bill sometime either this week or next week. But the parties have been still talking as a result of the controversial cannabis law. A Thai deputy spokesperson revealed that there has been an increasing number of cannabis cafes in many provinces. And he said, we would like the PM Prayut Chan-o-cha and the Public Health Minister to reconsider the law on all fronts, or else the state of Thai society is likely to deteriorate even more deeply. So sharing his views on the matter during the discussion of the cannabis bill. So as usual, I will do my best to try and decode what's actually happening and bring you any big news on that particular issue as it comes to light. You're watching TNT. It's the TNT program on a Tuesday. Thank you very much for your ongoing support. I do really appreciate it, and also thank you very much if you've subscribed to the channel, and a high number of views compared to subscribers, so a lot of you have subscribed, and for that I'm very grateful. And we go to our next story today on the Bangkok Post. Tourist arrivals set to slow next year. The TAT fears demand will tail off from April. I'm thinking that things are probably going to start tailing off after January, because we're probably not going to have a Chinese New Year like it has been in recent years. Yes, there will be some Chinese ethnic people coming from parts of Asia to celebrate the very special Chinese New Year here in Thailand, but they probably, or many of them, won't be coming out of mainland China. The tourism sector might be challenged by a slow market in the second quarter next year, as there'll be no more pent-up demand which fueled the market this year. This is according to the TAT. And they're preparing to hold a special event called Amazing Thailand, 10 million celebrations on December the 10th at every port of entry, as the number of visitors is expected to hit 10 million on that day, ahead of the prediction that this number would be reached at the end of the year. And the third paragraph there, the TAT Governor Yutasak Supason saying, however, the industry should not count on this number as the overwhelming demand today is mostly from tourists who were unable to travel for 2 or 3 years. So just quite a few assumptions there. There has been a thing called pent-up demand, and I think that's probably going to continue into next year. But there are so many things in play at the moment, so many balls up in the air, that we're really not exactly sure what's going to happen next week, let alone in the early quarters next year. And this, I think, the most realistic thing the TAT governor has said in a long time. We might have to wait until the next low season to see how Thai tourism can cope with negative factors like the recession, high travel cost and inflation, as there'll be no more drivers like pent-up demand. So let's see if the TAT governor is right with that. He's predicting there could be a bit of a tourist drop-off in the second quarter next year. The best thing we can do for the Chinese market is to preserve the positive perception of Thailand and wait till they're allowed to come. For the time being, we'll have to accelerate other markets to offset the lack of Chinese. And just noting that the TAT has just completed one of their big expos in India to keep the tourism flow coming out of that country, which is only 3 or 4 hours flight from Thailand. And with that, I thank you very much for joining us on our TNT on a very sunny Tuesday morning here in Phuket. And wherever you are in Thailand or the rest of the world, hope you have a fantastic Tuesday, and we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.